Welcome back to Crime Watch. Over 86,000 cases of motorists driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs were recorded by police during the 2017-2018 reporting period. This represented an increase of 14.8% when compared to the figures for the previous year. We found out from Howard Dembowski, founder and chairperson of Justice Project South Africa, what the recorded number of road fatalities in recent years have been as a result of drunken driving.
Our latest reliable statistics date back to 2008, and they come from the National Injury Mortality Monitoring System, where it was shown that 57.8% of drivers who were tested post-mortem were at least 3 times over the allowable limit in South Africa. The problem is massive, but I hasten to add that pedestrians far outstripped them. They were 63% of pedestrians that were killed in road traffic collisions.
If you are stopped, can you refuse to be breathalyzed?
Under no circumstances must you refuse to be breathalyzed. Remember that a traffic officer or a policeman may arrest you on the mere suspicion that you are driving under the influence of alcohol.
We've been here for just over 2 hours, a few dozen motorists arrested for drinking and driving. What's your advice to motorists this festive season especially?
If you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Drive dry says it, and it means it. And quite frankly, that is the only policy. You cannot operate machinery properly when you have consumed alcohol or drugs having a narcotic effect.
What would you ideally like to see people convicted of drinking and driving? What punishment should be meted out?
Well, I think in terms of the National Road Traffic Act and the Section 89 of the National Road Traffic Act, the prescribed term of imprisonment is a maximum of 6 years. That it would be much better to subject those people to a proper diversion program, which in fact subjects them to things like cleaning up at the scenes of crashes, working in a trauma unit, and working in a mortuary. Not one, not the other, all 3. And in that manner, you are going to change the behavior of motorists. And that is the most important thing that we need to be doing, changing behavior. Creating more criminals in South Africa is not a good idea.
So you get stopped, you perhaps broke the law, perhaps you may be under the influence, the officer wants a bribe. What do? Do you pay the bribe? Do you report him? What is the plan of action?
You absolutely do not pay bribes. If you pay a bribe, then you are a killer. With the greatest of respect to everybody. If you solicit a bribe, you are a killer. I'm sick and tired of hearing this nonsense about if you drive under the influence of alcohol, you're a killer. If you speed, you're a killer. If you take or pay a bribe, you are a killer.
If you pay a bribe, you're a killer, says Howard. Joining us now is David Tembe, the chief of the JMPD. Hello, David. Great seeing you.
Good evening, Yusuf.
Howard says don't pay a bribe. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree, because if you pay a bribe and you go ahead and you'll kill somebody else, and then only for maybe 10 rand or 20 rand. It's not worth it.
David, let's get to drinking and driving. It's a major problem. Last weekend alone, I think you arrested about 80-some-odd people. Every month, these people get arrested, and the figures are not going down.
Yes, last month, because the executive mayor make it a point that every month JMPD release stats. For last month, it is going to be released on the 18th by the executive mayor. We arrested 800.
800 in 1 month?
Yeah, 800 only in 1 month. Probably it will increase this.
Only in Johannesburg?
Only in Johannesburg.
So this is a major ongoing problem.
Yes, it is. Every month we have to have fatalities caused by people who are drinking on our roads.
And there are clear indications that drinking and driving leads to crashes.
Exactly. It has been proven that not only drinking and driving, but those that are using drugs.
Well, let's talk about visibility quickly. Last weekend you had 4 roadblocks. The festive season is here. Visibility is paramount, and that is what the public wants, I would imagine.
Yes, and they really appreciate. As Johannesburg, every 10 kilometers, you look at N1, and then you can look at M1, you will find that you are going to have vehicles on each and every 15 kilometers with our blue lights. It has been proven during the World Cup that visibility is the most important.
But not visibility only in the holiday period. You're going to sustain it throughout the year?
Yeah, we'll try to sustain it the whole year, because our job is to prevent crime. Crime, part of it is people who are driving, speeding, drunken driving. Those create crimes.
Right. David, the punishment being meted out to people convicted of drinking and driving, is it adequate? Is it a deterrent?
No, I don't think it's adequate, because the point is, even if your license is suspended, how does a traffic officer on the road or the Metro Police see that your license is suspended? Because people who are driving around here, they've got suspended licenses. We don't have the means of identifying that the license has been suspended. You just look at the license, there's nothing in it.
Well, speaking of deterrence, when we went to the roadblock at Woodmead, in the period we were there, about 23 people were arrested. And here's the promise made at the scene from the JMPD around the arrest and the release of the suspects on bail.
So all the 22 you're talking about are detained at...
Yes, the 23, they are detained in the Sandton police station.
So are you going to make a follow-up to ensure that those that we have arrested are going to face the might of the law?
Yes, I'm going to do the follow-up, and I will make sure that they don't get the bail today. They must be kept in the police station for 48 hours.
Until Monday?
Until Monday.
Okay, what happened until after Monday?
Monday
Do you make a follow-up?
Yes, Monday morning they'll have to go to court, and they will be charged at the court. And then from there, we will have to go to the police station to find out how many did plead guilty and how many did not, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, but normally, do they get released same time, like
No.
tonight?
No, they don't.
Won't be released tonight?
No, they won't be released.
If I go tomorrow morning with the list that you have given me to Sandton, you said they are in Sandton police station?
Yes, they are.
Should I go tomorrow morning with Mr. Abraham G here next to me? Will I find those that you have given me with their case numbers tomorrow?
You will find the exact number tomorrow.
Mr. Abraham G,
in the morning.
We're going to check those ones tomorrow morning, that they've been kept there, because we don't want to find that we are taking them to the police station. After that, we don't know what happened.
No, they cannot be released immediately.
Well, we took up the challenge, Chief Tembe. We went to check at the Sandton police station on Saturday morning. All the 23 people arrested were released on bail of 1,000 rand each. How do you explain that? Your officer gave the commitment, and yet the police released them. So who's fooling who?
Yes, our job as Metro Police is to arrest them and hand over to SAPS. What they do with them, we don't give them instruction. They use their own discretion to release.
So 1,000 rand bail, we know bail is a right, but is it a deterrent? I mean, all of them within 2-3 hours were out. What a joke.
I'm surprised, because if within an hour they're already out, it means they were allowed to drive still while drunk.
And the RTMC indicated they want 7 days behind bars. They wanted to make it a Schedule 5 offense. Would you support such a call?
Yes, I will support full-heartedly what Advocate Msibi is saying.
Okay. Just very quickly on the rights at the roadblock. If they stop you, David, they ask you to pay for outstanding fines. Justice Project says you're not legally obliged to pay, even if there's a warrant. You can perhaps pay the warrant amount, but legally you're not obliged to pay the outstanding fines. Do you agree?
No, there's a difference. There are no admission of guilt. For an example, if you have been driving over the speed limit, if there is a warrant. If there is a warrant, you have to pay the fine.
And if there's no warrant, you don't have to pay?
Yeah, if there's no warrant, we will assist you to ensure that you pay those fines.
And if you don't want to pay?
But we don't arrest you. We don't arrest the person.
So you don't have to pay it on the spot?
No, you don't have to pay on the spot, but we can assist you to make you aware that you are owing so much. Because at the end of the day, you won't be able to renew your license.
David, very quickly, fighting crime in Johannesburg, whether it's hijacked buildings, whether it's nightclubs, you've got a multifaceted approach, including a clampdown on taxi drivers, I see.
Yes.
How's it going?
No, it's going very well. We've got full support from SAPS and other law enforcement and the city's departments. They are fully supported. It's a multifaceted approach. So when we go out there, it's a full house, in fact. So we deal with all this.
How many taxis do you impound on average every week? Do you even impound them?
Yeah, on average, not only taxis. Each and every car that does something wrong on our road, or if it's not roadworthy, we impound plus minus a day is about 80.
80 vehicles per day impounded?
Yes.
JMPD really hard at work. We encourage you to share your thoughts with us using the hashtag CrimeWatch on social media. After the break, our regular updates on missing persons and wanted criminals.